Hello everyone! Today I'll be showing you 3 basic techniques that you can use to start off any watercoloring painting. I like to think that this will really jumpstart your watercoloring career. I will also explain to you what you need to use those said 3 techniques. Therefore, I'll be explaining to you the humid on humid, the humid on dry, and the dry on humid techniques. Let's get started! Let's start by your canvas. I like to recommend nothing less than 300 gram paper. The reason is you're working with water and water tends to wrinkle paper. Therefore, I like to use something that really is hard, that really is durable and tough. And please, I cannot stress this enough, do not ever use paper that goes in the printer. You might be the best watercolor artist ever. Using print paper will be your doom. For the paint, watercolor paint does come under different aspects, but what I like to use is really the liquid kind that is in tubes. I think it's less pricey in total because I do think you get more for your money. Plus, they're less pricey, so that does help. So really what you are going to find in tubes is something like this. They work great. They are a little more work. You have to take care of them, wipe the paint off of them so they don't clog or anything. And that's pretty much it. But really it's worth it at the end. For the paintbrushes, I like to keep it simple. You throw away anything that's rough and you keep anything that's soft. The reason is the rough, like this, will just add too much stress on the already wet paper, ending up ripping the whole thing. Therefore, it's not really complicated to tell what is soft, what is hard. So this is really rough just by the touch, and this is incredibly soft but just by touching it. So you don't need to be a rocket scientist to do that. I also like to add a washing paintbrush. This will really be like your best friend. You won't be able to do watercoloring without a washing paintbrush like this. This is actually, well, something that looks like a washing paintbrush because usually washing paintbrushes are like $35 to $40, but this cost me $3 and it's doing a fine job too. So I'm just gonna give you a closer look. You can also get smaller sizes like this, also super great. So really, like any technique, you can use these brushes, they're fabulous. I also like to add a sponge brush. So it's basically your average paintbrush but with a sponge on it. You can use it to apply clean water to your canvas or clean water to your mixing palette. So really they're wonderful while working with watercolors. Mixing palettes is also an important part of painting. Without them, well, you can't really use your paint, which is kind of a bummer when you are painting. Therefore, I like to use tube with water painting. Since I am working with tubes, I like to have somewhere I can put my paint and then somewhere I can mix my paint because water really kind of gets everywhere and I like to use some colors untouched so I don't have to reuse my tubes every time. So I have something here that is a mixing palette, as you can see. This is where I mix my colors, but to put my paint, I kind of like to use something I can find in the house, like your average lid. So this is what I use to put my paint on it. So it doesn't need to be anything fancy, just something you can find at home. So since you're working with water, I like to keep a tissue or a rag around, but for my part, I kind of prefer to use a Scott towel. They're easy to find in your average house. Plus, when you put water on it, they don't crumble and get in those little pieces everywhere, like a tissue does. So this will be useful to clean up runaway water because water gets everywhere, everywhere. And it will also be useful in some techniques. So you can use it as a brush even. This is a key element to water painting, guys. This is important. pencil, don't go all complicated and go to the art store and buy yourself the best pencil ever. You could, but you could also use anything at home that you're comfortable with. It really is just to do a basic sketch behind to start off your painting. So I just like to use the same things I used to write. Just go with what you have, really. For the tape, it's simple. It's not only to tape down your canvas, you can also use it as protection. Let's say you're painting a background and you have a little, I don't know, a rose in front. You don't want to paint it green like your background. Put that on the rose, well protected, do the background, take off the tape, and then you can do the rose. Because with watercolor paint, you don't have any white. You cannot do overs or anything. So you have to prepare and mentally map out your canvas to know where white needs to be and where you need to protect your canvas. Therefore, tape will do that for you. I like to use paint tape because it's easy to find. There are other different things you could use, but really this does a job incredibly well. So there you go. That will be all you need to use my 3 fabulous and amazing techniques. Hope you liked it. I'll see you next time.